and gentlemen. Welcome to the 7-Figure Fashion Business Podcast,
where we talk about the fashion industry and how to get your fashion business to 7 figures.
From manufacturing strategies, cut and sew designers, to fashion hot topics and the latest fashion trends, I'm your host, Monica Monique.
And I'm your host, XYZ. And let's jump into today's episode.
All right.
Hey, guys. What if I says folder 1? Somebody comment on our podcast page, and they said love the podcast.
On our Instagram, YouTube, which one?
On our Instagram.
Really?
But let me see if they're really legit.
If they're really legit?
Because, you know, some people comment like...
Bots?
Yeah, bots. I love the show. DM us.
Oh. Was it somebody like that, though?
I think so.
Oh.
But when I clicked on the page, it looked like a real person.
It looked like a real person? Yeah, I would say it's a real person. We gotta be positive.
Yeah.
Did we start already?
Yeah. DM us some comments, guys. We want to hear from y'all.
Yeah. We always want to
I want to hear from y'all. I don't know if Monica do.
I always want to hear from our listeners. Sometimes we get DMs every once in a while, like every 3 months. Like not often at all. I would love for our community to engage and interact more, for sure. Because so many people listen to the audio because we see the amount of downloads and stuff every week. So yeah, I would love for you guys to engage more everywhere else too. But I also think like that could be our fault because we're not super active on any of our social media platforms. So maybe just engaging by downloading it is enough. Just download the podcast. That's good enough for me.
How was your trip?
My trip was life-changing. Was it life-changing? I don't know if it was life-changing, but it was a confirmation for me that I am valuable and motivational. You know, because I know I'm a very good speaker, but I think the impact that I saw that it had on some people, I was like, oh, wow. It was like confirmation, like wherever I go in the world, I am still valuable, you know? So basically, for those of you who didn't hear like some of the past episodes, I recently went to Bali for a retreat, which was with the Start Your Fashion Business organization, or academy, I should say. And they have over 400 plus students in their course where it teaches you from A to Z how to start your fashion business, you know, how to find out your target customer, your audience, your marketing, your branding, what colorways you should be using for your branding, your logo, and then all the way down to your design process, manufacturing, and how to go about getting it from concept to creation. So Start Your Fashion Business Academy is a really good academy to be a part with and affiliated with, and so thankful to them for this opportunity because this was my first time speaking out the country and at a retreat in this way.
Was it 400 people?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's 400 people in their online university. The retreat was only like 10 to 15 people. Okay. Maybe in reality it was 13 people, I think. Okay. And so I went, it was a 5 to 6 day curriculum of workshops, individual classes and stuff. And then in between days of just seeing Bali and kind of going out into the city a bit more to explore what Bali has to offer and kind of be more of a tourist.
That was a good idea.
Yeah, very smart. Stephanie is so smart. Stephanie and Phil and Dinda, the whole team. But yeah, it was really good. So I had reached out, number one, because I saw that they were hosting a retreat, and I had been saying throughout the whole year, you know, I'm going to go to Bali this summer. I'm going to go to Bali this summer with no actual plans to go to Bali. I just was manifesting it. And then when I saw that they were having a retreat in Bali, specifically for fashion designers and entrepreneurs, I knew, oh, this is the opportunity that I've been looking for. This is what I'm supposed to do this summer because it's in the location that I wanted to go this summer, one. But two, I had been saying I wanted to speak more at fashion companies or fashion events, like things particular to fashion entrepreneurs instead of just entrepreneurs as a whole. Mm-hmm. I wanted to be more specific because that is my particular genre. Mm-hmm. So when the opportunity came about, I'm glad that it all worked out with timing and everything and me being able to go and speak. But even before then, kind of creating the workshop or remodeling it, because I had emailed them like, hey, you know, I think I'd be perfect and add a lot of value to your event, but here are some of the programs or workshops I teach. And they had emailed me back and said, yeah, we think this particular program, which was called Pre-Order Pay the Way, this particular workshop we think would be perfect for our girls. Mm-hmm. So even me like reconstructing the workshop to make sure it was like super valuable for this group of women, super particular to the fashion industry and all those things, I was kind of thinking like, wow, I hope this does actually bring value. I hope, you know, outside of like all the other things that they will learn this week, that this will be a standout workshop, that it will be informative, that they will get a lot of value and takeaways from it, and really be able to look at it as an important part of the curriculum and me as a good speaker. Mm-hmm. I think no matter where you are, you always want to be good at what you do. Yeah. And looked at as good at what you do, you know? Yeah. So going throughout the week, because my workshop was on Thursday. So we arrived at the retreat on Sunday night. Mm-hmm. Throughout different times on Sunday, but I got there Sunday night. And Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, all different types of workshops. And mine was on Thursday, which was one of the last ones, because then Friday morning, people were flying out. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. So throughout the week, I'm sitting in on other people's workshops. I'm mm-hmm. listening to the group of women. We're having breakfast, lunch, and dinner together. I'm getting to know all of the women who are coming to learn, and the owner of the company as well, Stephanie, getting to know her partner, Phil, and who, by the way, was on the last episode. Go listen to the last episode. But
did you record your
workshop? Yeah, I'm going to put it on our Patreon for our exclusive members. Mm-hmm. I'm going to put like maybe an episode out with some clips, but the full video and all of that will be on our Patreon, which is patreon.com/7figurefashionbusiness.
It's in our bio.
It's also in our bio on Instagram. But yeah, 7, the number 7, figure fashion business. But yeah, so as I'm going through the workshops and stuff, hearing what everybody else has to say, seeing how they teach and stuff, I was starting to feel like, okay, you know, I think I got this. Mm-hmm. Like, you know,
you didn't practice.
I didn't.
I thought you was gonna present it to me first.
Right. I thought about it.
Did you do it? Did you show anybody first or no?
No. I planned on it, but then the plan didn't work out. Like I wanted to mm-hmm. go through it a couple days before I was going to leave for the flight. So I left Philly on Friday, got to Bali on Sunday, but I was thinking the Wednesday before the flight, I was going to have like a session where, you know, I could sit down with you and a couple friends and just have y'all see mm-hmm. me present the workshop and see, you know, if you like the way it aligned, mm-hmm. you know, going from this topic to this topic to this topic, does this make sense? But I also did a lot of that when I was creating the presentation. You know, I read it out loud a lot of times. And I've also presented a lot at high schools and colleges and different events for entrepreneurs, but I just wanted to make sure that the value was not missed. And it wasn't. When I presented on Thursday, some girls cried. Mm-hmm.
I'm not surprised, though.
You're not surprised? I mean...
I'm not surprised. I told my boyfriend, I was like, she's going to go there and wow those people. Mm-hmm. Like, I know everybody's going to be amazed once you speak. Mm-hmm. Because even watching you work with customers or when other entrepreneurs come in the store or Just from the outside looking in.
Yeah.
Everybody is always like amazed.
Yeah. I feel like, yeah.
You're not surprised? You're not surprised?
I mean, not that I'm not. No, of course I'm surprised. I'm very surprised. Like, I felt like, oh, wow, why are you crying?
Are you really?
Yeah.
I'm not surprised that you said that.
Because I was just like...
Yeah, I'm not. I wish you could see. Well, you probably see it. But.
Well, now I feel like I get it a little bit more. Now I feel like, oh, wow, these certain things that I say and the way that I say it and how I speak to women at certain points of their life, their career, is a lot of reassurance for them that they are doing fine at whatever stage they are at. And I think that I didn't know that other motivational speakers or entrepreneurs don't really speak to a lot of the things that I speak to. Like, one of the girls came up to me and said, I've never heard, well, several ones. So one said I was the best motivational speaker they've ever listened to, which I'm like, girl, how? Because...
What do you mean, how?
Because I'm like, what? To like me? Little me? But another girl said, like, the way you approached your business and how you pivoted at certain points of your career and how you turned this thing into trampoline into the next step was so amazing to hear about, because I never thought about it in that way. And also they said, one of the things that stuck out to me that one person said, you operate in a very feminine way, which they found valuable. And I never heard anybody say that I operate in a very feminine way. I thought that was interesting. So basically what she was saying was, like, the way you care for your customers, the way you over deliver, the way you pay attention to their insecurities, and also the way you take breaks for yourself, the way you're not trying to overdo it in your off season, the way you take care of your body and your life and your lifestyle is also very important, because the way men present motivational speakers and entrepreneurship is like grind, hustle, go hard.
That is a lot.
You gotta get up at 5 a.m. every day. You gotta stay up until 10 p.m. You gotta make 100 calls. You gotta da-da-da-da. And she was like, your approach to business and how you view success and how you've had success is very feminine, in a way that it's like, yes, money is important. Yes, customers are important. Yes, grinding is important. But also sleep is important. And also taking time for yourself is important. And also appreciating the customers that you do have, so those can be return customers, versus trying to grind and get the next one, get the next one, get the next one. Yeah, is a very feminine approach in the way that it's taking care of yourself and your customers in a nurturing way, more than of hustle, go get it way.
Yeah, that was a really good point.
Yeah.
All of those was like really good points to me. And it was the truth. And it wasn't like some people, when they do motivational speeches, like you said, they just lie to make it sound good.
They just lie.
They just lie to make it sound good to get your money. But it was like, your heart is really in it. Like, you want to steer people the right way.
Right. Yeah. And I really never thought about it in that perspective. I never thought that my point of view was, I mean, I know my point of view is different because I present in a way speaking from my personal experience. Like, I don't try to make anything up or act like I'm doing 3 million or act like I'm working day and night and booked and busy and I don't make it appear anything than it is. But the fact that people found so much value in how I do business and how I speak about business, I was like, oh, wow, like, I really am a good speaker. I really am good at giving people guidance. I really am good at showing them value in themselves that they have not seen. So it was really a confirmation for me seeing myself through other people's eyes. Yeah. So I was like, oh, wow, like, that's really good. I'm glad that I brought so much value for everybody. And even like throughout the week, like I said, my presentation was on Thursday. So Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I was actually just taking notes on what other women were saying about their own customers or their ideas, because a lot of the girls who went didn't have fashion companies yet, so they're just starting out like literally from scratch. Like, what do I come out with? Do I want to do swimsuits, or do I want to do lingerie, or do I want to do plus size, or do I want to like, they were starting from scratch. And with me listening, I listened intently throughout the whole week at what different participants were saying. And I took notes on each girl. And I was like, okay, this girl wants to come out with a jacket company, and she's trying to gear towards 70s, 80s punk rock. I think this idea might be good for her. And then when I would go to the workshops, other people's workshops, I would take down notes for the girl's idea that maybe that girl didn't think about because she hasn't been doing it yet. So then during my presentation, and even after my presentation, I gave those notes to those girls. Like, hey, throughout the week, I've heard you talk about this. And I think that, I don't know if you've thought about this perspective or have this idea, but I would love for you to consider this. I think this would get you further faster. I think this idea would get you into a couple stores. I think this sentence that you mentioned at breakfast is really important, and I think that that needs to be a key part of your pitch, or that can be a part of your branding, or and a lot of those girls, almost every one of them was like, Monica, I'm amazed that you even took notes about me. Like, that you cared to write down that I'm focused on 80s punk rock. Like, I can't believe that you have been thinking on this for 4 days and you just gave me a business idea that will probably launch my company. And I was like, yeah, of course. I care about you. I care about me being here. I'm so grateful to have been at this retreat and in this space to offer value. So I'm going to try to give as much value as possible and go the extra mile. So, the fact that I did that, though, was another thing that made some girls cry, because they was like, wow, you really actually care. And I'm like, yeah, why wouldn't I? And mind you, I think that the good thing about that retreat being such a small group of girls, I could do that for 13 girls. If it was 100 girls, I probably would not have been able to do that.
Why?
Because I wouldn't have been able to engage with each girl individually the way I did for each day. Yeah. Or just like, I knew everybody's names and, what everybody was into and da-da-da. So I think that I was able to, and they were able to really get to know each person at the retreat individually and as a group. So I was grateful and thankful that it was that small of a group, because I feel like it was super manageable for their team and for me to be able to offer value to them the way I did. Yeah. So, yeah.
Congrats. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
I want to see more of that.
More of what?
Motivational speeches, and I don't know. I picture us being in front of a crowd of 100 people and motivating them. Because I think fashion is the future. I think everybody's going to come up with a clothing line and need help and guidance. You don't think so?
No.
Yeah, I see it all on Instagram.
I don't think everybody's going to come out with a clothing line. I think everybody will have their sense of style. I think everybody should have a individualized sense of style. I don't think that means they need to offer and create a clothing line to give to the people. But I think I would love to see more people have individualized sense of style.
That's what Instagram is.
Yeah.
It's all about what are you wearing. It's all about, Instagram is all about fashion. Yeah. Well, on my timeline, all I see is fashion.
On your
so I can't really say that.
Right.
Because my boyfriend, his timeline is all sports and, well, he got motivational stuff on his timeline too.
Everybody's timeline is different. The algorithm is whatever, yeah. Yeah, the algorithm gives you what you give it. And I think I've made my algorithm give me more fashion and motivation than not.
While you was away, I didn't have time because I was at work. But I read a lot of books.
What books did you read?
I read Atomic Habits, The 4 Laws, 5 a.m. Club, and The 4 Agreements. Okay. I read all of those books while you was away. You was away for what, like a week?
Like 2
weeks? Yeah, 2 weeks.
2 weeks, yeah.
So I read all of those books while you were away. So while you was away learning, I was home learning too. And that was good to have like those little moments. And I learned, I don't know. I just thought about the podcast while I was reading those books.
Was there any like specific takeaway from a particular book that you like wrote down or that stood out to you?
I actually didn't get to write stuff down. I have to go through the books again and write down everything that was important. All I did was underline and take like little notes. But I do want to go back and write down notes in the book so that I can read over them every day. Or, you know how you got the sticky notes? Mm-hmm. Put this, like, write it on the sticky note and just put it on my wall or whatever so it's right in my face and I can remember every day because I kind of forgot.
Yeah.
A little bit. The 4 agreements, he talked about the 4 agreements and I tried, like, in the beginning, I practiced all 4 agreements.
Okay.
And I actually, like, slipped up a couple days and I was like, oh, dang, I gotta go back.
Okay.
But what stuck out podcast-wise? In Atomic Habits, he talked about the system. So he talked about if your habits aren't working out, you have to change your system. Mm-hmm. So I thought about how, I don't know, like for example, we come in and we set up the camera, the lights or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I feel like it's the same thing every week. Then I thought about, what if we create a system? You do the lights, I do the mics, or it takes a long time to set up.
Right.
So I'm like, what if we just be more organized? Or, I don't know.
This took me 5 seconds, I'll tell you that. Because there's no lighting, there's no camera today. Yeah. Like, yeah.
And then I went back and I watched all my YouTubes. Well, I only got 2 YouTubes.
Okay.
And I watched it with my boyfriend. Mm-hmm. And he actually said good things. Like, we talked about my flaws. Mm-hmm. And then we talked about, like, my strong points. And he said he really could see me being a motivational speaker. Mm-hmm. And I thought about us. I was like, wow, like, if I really get serious, read more books and expand my vocabulary. Mm-hmm. I say a lot. I smack my teeth a lot.
Yeah.
And I stutter a lot. I don't know.
I don't feel like I ever hear you stutter, but
I'm not confident. He just was like, I'm not confident in my words sometimes. Like, I'm kind of real shy. Mm-hmm. But I see myself coming out of it, especially working in customer service. I'm just forced to talk to people, and then I meet people, and it's helping me understand. Like, there's really nothing to be shy about. So while you was away being inspired, I was inspired just by my own self. Yeah. And I felt like that was the universe. Like, because it randomly happened. Like, the books just popped up on my TL. Yeah. I'm like, let me just buy this book.
Right.
And I bought it. And then every day I just started buying books and I really sat and I read. And once I read one book, it was just up.
Yeah. I think really like reading books is the key to changing your life.
Yeah.
I think books are... There was a saying, I think I've said it before on this podcast, but it says if you want to hide something from a dumb person, and maybe more specifically, I think the quote said a black person, then put it in a book.
Oh my God.
That's
crazy.
Crazy.
That is.
If you want to hide
Who said it?
I don't know. It said the quote was, if you want to hide something from a black person, put it in a book.
Oh my God.
Because black people don't read. But furthermore, it could have said, maybe somebody just said it in that way, but it could have said, if you want to hide something from a dumb person, just put it in a book, because dumb people don't read. But I never forgot that quote, because it's literally like all the information that you need to know to be a better human, to be a smarter person, to be financially stable, to be emotionally stable, to be mentally stable. Yeah. The keys are in books. Just read more.
I feel like a lot of people used to read, but social media and YouTube and we just think all education is on the internet, which it is, but at the same time, people aren't just going to put free game on the internet where everybody can see it.
Right. Some people do though. If you look at enough specific YouTube and Google resources, there is a lot of information but you have to put it all together in order to get the keys. You know, everything is in one post or in one YouTube video. It's like, you know, you can watch a YouTube video on like how to start a business and they give you 5 quick tips. But if you watch 50 YouTube videos on how to start a business and put all that information together, then you probably have a better.
So you need both.
I don't think yes, you could use both for sure. It depends on how you learn. But I for sure 100% think that reading books is a better route because not only does it give you information, but like you said, it expands your vocabulary. It makes you speak better. It makes you hear better. When people are speaking the way the way that they speak, you can point out certain things about that person. I just think it's really a key part of being a better individual. Yeah.
And if you're trying to be a boss, be a big entrepreneur. I mean, some people just want to be entrepreneurs. They don't have to be a big entrepreneur. But if you want to be a boss, a leader in general, you have to be wise and know. What am I trying to say? You have to just, I don't know, you got a team. So people have to look up to you, trust you.
Right.
And I think that when a lot of entrepreneurs go into starting their business, I think they just say if like, I want to sell cakes. Oh, I want to be a baker. Like, you picture the good things about, you fantasize the good things about your business. But then when you get into business, it comes with so much more too.
Right.
And I think you have to have education on how to handle these situations that come with it.
And school education is not going to give you real world education. Like, it's a good education, it's a good start, and it puts you in rooms with people who are also furthering their education. But it is not the only education that you need in order to start a business, in order to be a leader and more. I think real world there's no better experience than real world experience, and you can also learn from other people's real world experience by reading their books. You know, like, so it all comes back to that. I remember one time when I was in elementary school, I was failing history, like F's all the time. Hated history.
Me too.
And
geography.
Geography, like the math. Okay, because I'm thinking geometry, like math, which I was good at, which I think is the reason why I'm good at pattern making.
Yeah, I'm good at math. Reading math.
Yeah, but I was failing history, and I remember my mom was so fed up with me failing history that she called my dad and was like, "You need to help her study for this test, because if she doesn't study for this test, she's gonna fail again." And And the test, I think, was about, I don't know, the first president. Like something.
Oh my God.
I just didn't care about none of them things. But
ask me a history question.
Like literally, it was all, at the time, I remember everything on the test was like, what year did the Constitution get signed, and who was the first president, and what president put this into order, and I was just not interested at all. But either way, what happened was my dad came over. I still remember this. My dad came over and read the whole history book, start to finish.
I would have been mad.
Like, he read it like it was Dr. Seuss. He read chapter by chapter, part by part, read the whole book. Like it was a story.
I would have been mad. I would have been so mad.
I passed the test. I got a straight A. Because when he read it, I actually listened. And by reading the book, mind you, a kid who's never been taught to study or how to study doesn't know how to study. But it turned out all I had to do was read the book to know, oh, this president got shunned out of office because when this war happened, this happened, and then that turned into 2 countries having to fight. Like, I never read the book, which was the reason why I was failing the test, because I did not care. I just was trying to look at, okay, this year this happened, all right, maybe I'll remember it, all right, this year that happened. But when he read the book and I listened to it almost as if it was a story, and I took the test. I actually passed. And then I literally had this thought to myself as like a third grader. Wow, if you read, you will pass. If you actually read, you will know the information and pass.
If you apply yourself.
If you study. So from then on, I read the book. I read the chapter. Like even with science, with my nieces and stuff now, when they're talking about like perspiration or how clouds form, I sit down and I read the chapter with them, and because of that moment where I realized, oh, if you read the information and hear it, then you actually will pay attention, or you'll just know the information. So yeah, reading for sure is the key. I wanted to talk a bit about a part of my workshop. There was a specific part of my workshop that I did in Bali that was about pricing. And I know you said a couple times pricing is super hard for new entrepreneurs. Yeah. What's your kind of opinion on that?
Everybody make the same mistake. Not everybody. Some fashion entrepreneurs make the mistake of undercharging because, I don't know, you knew, so why would you know how to charge? Right. So you go first.
No, I'm just saying, I believe that. I think when I first started, fortunately, whatever. When I first started making prom dresses, I was charging $150. Yeah. Like $150 per gown.
Yeah. I did the same thing.
Crazy.
I did the same thing. And when you talk to other new entrepreneurs, they do the same thing.
Same thing. They underprice, undervalue, because you're not thinking about how much materials cost.
I was about to say that.
Go ahead.
No, I was about to say, you think. We both said it. I don't know. I used to charge $50. Did you know that?
$50 not including fabric?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I would be working for like 20 hours. That's what, 1 cent?
Like 1 cent?
1 cent an hour. And I refused. I'm an entrepreneur. I refused to get a real job.
Really?
I would have worked. I would have made money. I would have made more money at a real job.
Of course.
But should I talk about? Hold on. Should I start? Okay. Yeah. So I've been watching. Yeah. I watched a lot of other fashion designers and how they price their stuff. And then I took it from my real world experience.
Recently or back then?
Recently. Okay. And both. I compared it. I used to be booked with like 20 designs to do in like 2 weeks.
And that was all at $50 each?
That was all at $50. Thought I was the biggest entrepreneur in the world. Then when I really got done and I seen how long it took. Right. Because when I got into it, I didn't consider time. So timing is important. Yeah. And I watched other people on how to price, and then working with you, I told you that I was pricing low, and you was like, oh no. Like, right. Don't do that.
Right. Yeah, that was crazy. I think that's everybody's story though. I was pricing $150. I mean, I'm glad it was more than $50, but it might have been $150. It might have been $150 including fabric though. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. It was just crazy. And at the time I was getting my fabric from a cheapy store. Like I wasn't using real sequins or glitter or diamonds or whatever. It was just important. Like plain dresses that were gowns. Yeah. But
in school they didn't teach you how to price?
They probably did, but by the time I was pricing on my own, all that went out the window. Yeah, I forgot about those classes or whatever. Because school doesn't teach you how to be a designer. They teach you how to be a seamstress almost, or a sample maker.
Okay, I was about to say, when I do go to school, I want to learn. I want to be I want to learn fashion design and fashion business. But that's two different majors.
Possibly.
I'm in school forever.
No. I used my fashion design bachelor degree to learn more about entrepreneurship, and I used every class and every teacher and every professor. I pointed out, I want to do this project as somebody who's going into business, not as somebody who's working for a business, because my plan is to be a business owner, not to work at somebody else's company. So I was very intentional about my education. But I think you can do the same without doing a double major. I believe that you can.
Yeah.
Because you can always take entrepreneurship classes through your major. It would just be possibly less than if you were a strict business major. But one of the things I talked about with pricing was cost plus pricing versus premium pricing. So most companies call price as a cost plus pricing, meaning it's the cost of the materials, manufacturing, shipping, plus 2.5%. So you would do, let's see, cost of materials, trims, and labor overhead, admin expenses, and design expenses. The cost of these expenses divided by the number of items produced in the sales profit. So basically, add all the costs together, then divide it by, let's say if you got 100 items manufactured. So say if it's $10,000 divided by 100 pieces. Now that is what, 50? I'm sorry, maybe $500. $10,000 divided by, you have 500 garments made. That's $20 each. And then you're going to multiply that $20 times 2.5, and that item is going to be $50. That's how most people price. So when you're doing cost plus pricing, that means you're probably like, let's say, a Fashion Nova or Shein or maybe even Zara. But when you're a premium brand, you price more than that. So let's say wedding gowns. That gown that's let's say $200 to make can still be $4,000 when you sell it. Even though cost plus pricing would say that that item should be $650. The reason why they're doing it for $3,000 is because they're a premium brand, number one, a premium product, number two, and the value proposition of what this item means to the customer. So people are emotionally attached to wedding gowns, so they're willing to pay more for it. So for me, what I taught in the class, outside of like how to get pre-orders and how to showcase your value to each customer, I also spoke about when you sell a premium priced item, a lot of good things come with that that's just associated with the price. So I spoke briefly about this, and I talked about how there could be a chocolate bar. There could be 2 chocolate bars in a store, and one chocolate bar is $3 and the other chocolate bar is $18. Your automatic thought is going to be the one that's $18 is probably better chocolate, better quality, better flavors, more natural, premium brand, maybe like just a higher quality product. And vice versa, your opinion on a $3 bar that's next to it is probably going to be like, oh, that's cheap, fast, probably a lot of sugar, probably a lot of calories, whatever. Those 2 chocolate bars could be made in the same chocolate factory with the same product, but the pricing makes you think differently about each item. That also happens in every other industry. So in a fashion brand, if you see a gown that's $3,000 and a gown that's $300, your opinion is probably the same. Like, oh, well, the one that's $300 is probably going to be cheaper material. It's probably not going to have boning inside. It's probably not going to have the best quality zipper. But the one that's $3,000 is probably top tier, going to be perfect fit, not going to have any issues. Might come with a garment bag or, benefits. Maybe the $3,000 product, you're going to assume you probably can talk to a customer service person because you're paying so much for the item, versus the $300 gown, you probably can't even get nobody on the phone at that company. So premium pricing is one thing that I for sure explained, that and all the benefits of it. Like, you can do more for your customer when you have premium pricing. So I spoke a little bit about this, how I often give girls boob tape or a free pair of earrings or that match their gown, or just little stuff I don't feel like, oh, this is going to take away from my profit or this is going to break my company or whatever, because I'm a premium price brand. So it's not a big deal to me to give them all these extra little gifts or pay for it. Shipping is always included. Like on my website, if you're buying something that's over $300 or even less than that, shipping is free. It's always free. I don't care if I have to overnight this for an extra $100. It's a $2,000 gown. What's $100 going to do? It's not going to break me. Plus, I'd rather that customer get it on time and early in order to try it on and, feel it out or whatever. If they need anything to ship it back and ship it forth, then I want to make sure they have the time to do that. So I'm not so stressed or pressed with a premium product than if I did charge, let's say, cost plus pricing, $600 for something that cost me $200 to make. Then shipping overnight at 100 to 150 UPS is going to take a lot out of my profit. Now my profit went down from $400 to $250, just like that. And now each dress, I got to think about, I can't afford to do overnight shipping on the next order because that's going to take my profit down again, another big hit. So I think premium pricing and a premium priced product is the difference between your brand being financially stable and not. For me, I would rather have premium priced items and sell 10 things for $1,000 than have a $20 product and have to sell 500 things for $1,000. It's not gonna work out. Like it's I get it though. I get like cost plus pricing. I think that it's beneficial when you do have a cheaper item that you can't price that high, but that's how it works. If you're doing cost plus pricing, it's the cost of the materials, manufacturing, shipping, and your workers. Divide that by how many of those items got made, and then you're going to times that times 2.5, and that's the price of your product.
Okay. Mine is a little different.
That's the literal.
I mean, not ouch. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Mine is a little different, but yours is kind of like the same. I think we got the same idea.
Okay.
And so when I first started, like I said, I was underpricing. But when I went to May Institute, I had a consultation with the owner.
Okay.
And it wasn't really, it was just her helping me. Just her talking to me. And I told her, this is when I first started out, and I told her everything that I wanted to do with my brand. And she just believed in me. Like, she was real positive. But I told her how I wanted to start off my prices cheap so that I can get my customers. And then I wanted to raise my prices.
Okay.
So I used to do stuff for free. Used to do stuff for $50. Used to do stuff for I never went over $150.
Okay.
And she was like, don't do that. She was like, you have to like set your brand at the real price, because then when you get them cheap customers, that's going to be your fan base. Well, your customers. And once you raise your price, they're not going to be willing to pay that anymore. So you're going to have to start over anyways.
Yep.
And
good advice.
She was right.
Good advice.
She was right. So remember earlier in the show, I said, or earlier in this episode, I said I could have just went and worked the real job.
Right.
Because I wasn't really making nothing. I wasn't really setting up. So I think after watching like a few videos, other fashion designers, I watched a lot of other fashion designers and how they price their brand. So, and then I took from my experience. Okay. So basically, you figure out the cost of living in your city. Okay. And that's rent, utilities, groceries, whatever. Like how it is, how much it costs for you to live. Plus how much it costs for you to run your business. So all your business rent, your tools, your business savings, just whatever it is to run your business.
Mm-hmm.
Plus that, and hold on, got it. I should have wrote it down. Okay. So the cost of living plus your business living.
That's what I'm about to say. Like, maybe I just pull out the calculator for you because
I'm about to rate it. I got it. I know how it is on a piece of paper. So the cost of living. So let's say the cost of living is $30,000, and for you to run your business a year, $30,000 a year. For you to run your business is probably $20,000 a year, plus your wants. So for you to get your hair done, for you to go on vacation, for you to go out to eat, for you to do whatever you want to do, let's say that's about $10,000 a year.
Okay.
So you add all of that together, and you divide it by 12.
Okay.
Because it's 12 months in a year.
I understood why. I understood the 12. Yes.
I gotta explain it to the people. So that's $5,000 a month.
Okay.
That you need to pay to live, for you to pay yourself, and for you to pay your business.
I'm still waiting for the part where this goes into your items.
Can I get there?
Okay.
Jesus. Okay. So that's $5,000 a month that you need to bring in. And you divide that by 4 because it's 4 weeks.
Okay.
4 weeks in 1 month. So each month, each week you have to bring in $1,250. Light. That's light. That's easy.
Okay. Now where?
Can you be quiet?
Okay.
Can you be quiet, please?
Okay.
So
this is stressing me out. Okay.
So you don't do that.
Okay.
So you divide the 1,250 by 40.
Okay.
Because however many hours a week you want to work.
Okay.
And I say 40 because that's the average work hours a week. And I think 40 hours a week is important because you don't want to overwork yourself. You still you need your sleep, you need your alone time, you need family time, all of that. So I say 40 hours a week is good. So you get $31.25.
Okay.
So that's how much you have to pay yourself an hour. $31.25 for you to be able to pay your rent, pay yourself, and pay your business. So then you take the cost of your materials for one design.
I'm just waiting. Okay.
You take the cost, whatever design it is, you take the cost of like how much your materials is. So say it's $100 for you to produce a design. So then you take...
Girl, what? This been... Okay.
Then you take... I should have wrote it on the board, but we're not recording today.
Lord.
But then you take $100 plus how many hours it take you to make that product. So if it take you 10 hours to make one dress.
Right. So you're speaking on behalf of custom designers.
Yeah.
Okay.
10 times 31.25 because that's how much you got to pay yourself. That's $312 $312 that you have to pay for labor. So you take the labor cost plus the fabric, and the fabric was $100. So you have to charge $412 for this one item. Okay. And that's how you get it.
Yeah. Okay. Now that we got there.
Don't do that. That's a good...
No, I agree.
Strategy.
I agree.
And another point that another designer made was, he said, figure out your competition. So figure out a designer that's like on the same level as you, and like customers will go to them. And he said, figure out their pricing. So if you charge $300 for something, but you see one designer charging like $350, and then another designer charging like $4, you want to be lower than the other designers or like in the middle.
Okay.
And that'll, I don't know, because people do that. They look for the options first. Right. So I thought that was a good point that he made.
Yeah. Pay attention to your competition always. Yeah. Pricing for sure. I mean,
so you were speaking as a whole, but
yeah,
if you are running a business by yourself, like no team, because that's how designers do start out,
right?
Custom designers. I think that's a good strategy.
I think that's a good strategy. I always say just charge more.
Charge more. Yeah, of course.
Like I think, cause so you're saying 31? Because you said when you do the math.
But that wasn't real numbers though. That was fake numbers. I just assumed.
I know, but I'm saying if that's your actual number and it says 31,
that's how much you got to 31. Yeah, 30.
Charge $50 an hour then.
50 an hour. When I did the math with everything, it said I'm supposed to charge $62 an hour.
Then I think you should charge $75 for leeway, for room,
right?
Just
in
case anything.
Yeah.
I think you just add 15.
Just add 15
an hour.
I was about to say something.
Even plus more than that too, because it's your company. Give yourself a raise.
Yeah.
You know, if it says your lifestyle could afford you $62 an hour or $70 an hour, it's your company. Charge $100 an hour.
Eventually, that's what some braider was saying.
So for me, just a side note, for me, I don't charge based on how much I would charge hourly. I charge based on how much it would cost to get somebody else to make it, and me still have a profit. So, for example, if somebody wants a custom suit made, how much would my tailor, seamstress, or manufacturing process cost? Even as a custom designer, if the manufacturing company will charge me $220 to make this custom suit, I'm going to charge the customer, let's say $450 or $600, because that's where my company is going. And I want you to get used to that price now. So this is going to be $600. And whether I make it or not, I still have the wiggle room that if I can't or don't have time to make this, finish this, whatever, or want a specialty person to work on this, I have the wiggle room to pay somebody else and still not lose profit. So I think that's important to factor in as well. You will not always be the only person working for your company. So charge as if you had to pay somebody else to do it and then still get profit.
I was listening to this braider, and you know, some braiders, hairstylists, I think they kind of like related to us for many reasons. But she was talking about how it's not in the hair world. You don't really have employees, because if somebody know how to do hair, they're gonna branch off and do their own hair. Just with us, if somebody know how to sew, they're gonna branch. Yeah. So she was saying, like, when she did the math, she pays herself $100 an hour. But of course, like braiding hair doesn't take as long as making a dress. Right. And she basically was saying, like, you working by yourself, so you have to charge $100 an hour because it's just you. Versus the hair shops, they can pay people. I mean, they can do cheaper prices because they have a whole full blown team. I thought that was interesting. Yeah. When you buy yourself. Yeah. When you buy yourself, you do have to upcharge. When it's just you.
Right. I think, okay. I don't want this episode to be too long, so I agree in some fashion.
All right, wait. I got one more thing to say.
Okay.
Earlier, remember you asked me, like, how did the books relate? What did I learn from the podcast?
Yeah.
I meant to say this, but we didn't. So, chop this part and edit this part and bring it all the way to that part.
Okay.
Okay, so in the 4 agreements, he talked about how this young girl could sing. She loved to sing. Mm-hmm. And one day her mom was having a bad day. Like, she had a bad day at work, and the little girl was singing, and she was annoyed by the little girl singing because she just wanted peace. Mm-hmm. And he said that the mom snapped on the little girl and was like, "Shut up. You can't sing. Your voice sounds horrible." And then he said that the little girl never sang after that. Had a beautiful voice, but just didn't sing because that's what her mom told her, or that's what somebody told her. Mm-hmm. So that was a good lesson that I learned too, because I learned that just from what I've been through, like the people I was around, my immediate family. That's what he said. He talked about how your parents. Mm-hmm. He said you have to forgive your parents and your siblings. Mm-hmm. He talked about how your parents and your siblings play a big part because that's the environment that you was in. Right. So whatever they said, those was your immediate people. So whatever they said, like, it stuck with you throughout your life. Right. And that was a good lesson for me because I learned that when I started my business, that the people I was around was just so negative and they didn't believe. Because when you chase an entrepreneur dream, it's so big that nobody believes, and they think going to school and being a doctor and a lawyer is like a safe thing to do because of course everybody wants the best for you. Right. So I got when I first started, I got a lot of negativity, and I didn't believe, and sometimes I still doubt myself, still don't believe. So when I read that, I thought about everything. I thought about the podcast. I thought about me modeling. I thought about everything I wanted to do, and it all results in the same factor that I don't believe because the people that I grew up with didn't believe. Yeah. But me being in my new apartment, well, not new apartment, me being in my own apartment away from everybody, and I'm starting to have a mind of my own. Right. I can see it.
Yeah. I think I believe that. And
it took me 27 years to
honestly,
read
I
that
feel
book
like,
and learn.
Yeah. Honestly, I feel like when I was young, The Secret, the movie and the book really changed.
I looked it up.
My life.
I looked up.
From the way my family, my parents, or whoever could have been around me, their perception of life versus my perception of life, and like changing how I looked at life. Mm-hmm. I think reading The Secret and watching The Secret at like 19 really snapped me into a different path than everybody else around me. Yeah. And it was like literally the change of mindset. You are responsible for how your life turns out. Yes. And that starts with your thoughts and your mental state. Yes. And your thoughts create things. Yeah. And if you can think about all positive things and picture the future you want to have, that will slowly come into realization. And if you don't, then whatever happens. Yeah. And I knew that from reading that book at that age. And ever since then, I've never gone back.
My ex-boyfriend, the universe is crazy. Like, I was dating so many trash guys. Did not understand like why I was dating trash guys. So I prayed one day. I was like, God, just send me my person. So my ex-boyfriend, I met him, and I was so amazed at like how compatible we was. I was just amazed at this human being, and I told him the story about how I prayed for him, and he was like, "Have you ever read The Secret?" But I was so young. I'm like, what? I don't know. I was in such a toxic person. Like, the universe really sent me this person. So it's on Netflix. The Secret is on Netflix. So he made me watch it. But I watched it. I'm like, why you like? He been trying to teach me these things, and I watched it, and I forgot all about it. And then one day you talked about, like, I think you said you read it. I forget what you said. You always read The Secret, or you always listen to it. I don't know, the secret is important to you.
Right.
So then I think I went back and watched it, and I'm like, all right, change my mindset, like be more positive, because I have a real negative mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah. But you said X, so clearly it didn't work out. All right,
but it didn't work. I feel like I see both sides. It didn't work out because he was trying to teach me something. I think he just got tired of me.
Yeah.
I think I was too immature. But it was like we broke up because he was being so mean. But now that I'm older, I'm learning that I get it.
Yeah.
He probably was tired of me. Like when you tired of somebody, you want to get away.
Maybe not. But as our last words, make sure you count your blessings
before you count your money.
This was a long episode, you guys. Bye.
Bye.